isn't a human alive who hasn't felt alone. And I have a secret to share with you today, a surefire way to feel less alone. Something I learned while circumnavigating the world with no money. I used to be a broker in the City of London, and on the outside, I had everything you could ever want. But on the inside, I felt profoundly broken, depressed, alone, no sense of hope. Probably drinking too much, definitely eating too much. But no one knew, because I was wearing a mask. And that mask told you, oh, everything's fine, everything's okay. But no, everything was not okay. And I would go so far as to say that everyone watching this speech today has experienced that feeling of living behind that mask. Not the COVID-19 type, right? The psychological mask. And when we live behind that mask, we feel alone. Sometimes people say to me, Leon, what did you learn on your journeys? I learnt many things, but the most beautiful thing I learnt was that we are all the same, irrespective of religion, irrespective of how much money we may or may not have, irrespective of colour. At base, we just want to be seen. At base, we just want to be loved. I remember I was in Delhi. We spent 2 nights in some slums. On the outside, if you've been there, you'll see there's a lot of poverty. On the inside, a lot of love. Woke up in the morning, saw this mother kissing her 2 kids goodbye for school. I had an epiphany. Her love for her kids is exactly the same as your love for your kids. We are the same. We are the same. As a kid, I was bullied mercilessly at school. I remember walking into class and feeling like the end was nigh. But I had this one teacher. She would look at me every day. She would say, I believe in you. I believe in you. She ignited my humanity. We connected with our shared humanity. She made me feel less alone. Look, we live in a world that is really set up to make us feel alone. Okay, so we think we have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse, all of these things, right, which we do. But the truest form of connection is from one human being to another. So, Leon, what is this secret way? Please tell me. I'm going to tell you. But this secret way has a little bit of a bad rap, right? So please don't turn off the speech. The secret way to feel less alone, guaranteed, is to be kind. Because when you are kind, you open up your heart. And when you open up your heart to another human being, everything changes. When you show compassion, when you show empathy, everything changes. Kindness literally changes lives. And I can say that because I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for that teacher all those years ago. Because really what she was doing to me was being kind. And kindness is a win-win. When I'm kind to you, I win. And so do you. That is the secret to feeling less alone. I'm sure you all know what it feels like when someone's mean to you, when someone makes you feel unvalued, when someone makes you feel like you don't matter. And I hope that all of you know how it feels like when someone sees you. When someone is kind to your very essence, your very humanity. And sometimes people say to me, oh, Leon, I can't be kind. If I'm kind, I'll be squashed. If I'm kind, people will think I'm weak. If I'm kind, my vulnerability will be taken advantage of. I get it. But when they tell me that, I tell them the story of the great Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, a man of love, a man of service, a man of compassion, but a kind man. How many of you would mess with Muhammad Ali? And that is my point. Kindness is, in fact, your greatest strength. It takes down that mask. It takes down those walls. And when you take down those walls, and you take down that mask, you are left with your humanity. And when you share that with another human being, I promise you, you will feel less alone. Sometimes they say, Leon, you're too Pollyannish. Don't tell me that all I have to do is be kind and everything will resolve itself. That's not what I'm saying. Bad things happen. COVID, wars. Bad things happen. But, it's a big but, good things happen too. And kindness and how we show up is a choice. On my journey around the world, I met all these interesting people, and this is a fellow that I met in Pittsburgh. And I would go up to people in the streets and I'd say, hey, can I stay in your house tonight? And they'd be like, no. I went up to Tony. I said, can I stay in your house tonight? And he looks at me and he goes, I'm really sorry, but I'm homeless. I feel a lot of shame, about to walk off. And he says, oh, hold on. Do you know what? If you want, you can stay with me tonight. I will feed you, I will protect you, and I will give you some clothes. That moment changed my life. Here was someone who had every reason to be unkind, who had every reason to choose to share his pain and his hate. But he chose to be kind. And I ended up staying on the streets with him. And I remember saying to him in the morning, I said, Tony, do you ever feel alone? And he's like, look, Leon, I don't want to be on the streets. But the truth is, I don't feel alone. I have my friends. I share with people. I show my kindness. I receive kindness. I share my humanity. Goosebumps, even now, goosebumps. I'm not saying that Tony was better off on the streets. Clearly not. But what I am saying is that when we choose to be kind, it is a natural reaction for us to feel less alone. And Tony proved it. He proved it. I'll leave you with a little story. I gave a speech a while back at a school about kindness, believe it or not. And at the end of the speech, this kid comes up to me and he hugs me for 1 minute. He wouldn't let go. Why? Well, it turns out that he'd suffered a traumatic brain injury, and his teachers told me that ever since he'd had that catastrophic injury, all he wanted to do was love. All he wanted to do was make other people feel less alone. And the way that he did that, the kindness that he showed, was to hug me and to hug others. Here was living proof that how you show up in the world makes a massive difference. Now, My challenge for you today is to go out and hug the world, is to go out and make people feel less alone, is to go out and inspire others by how you show up. So, go be human, go be kind, and I promise you, guaranteed, that you will feel less alone.